Welcome to the Unknown Soldier's Basic Gameplay Tips training video. In this video, you will learn some of the things it takes to make a successful player at Battlefield Bad Company 2. The first thing you must do is join a squad. Joining a squad has multiple benefits. First, not only can you spawn on your squad mates, but they can spawn on you. This of course helps when you have a tactically advantageous position or if you need to support your squad mate. And more selfishly, you get more points for interacting with your squad mates, for example when you give them ammo or you revive them. There are two ways in which you can join a squad. First, when you first join a server, it'll give you an option to put you in a squad. Secondly, you can use the squad management bar. This bar will pop up every time you die or in the middle of a game when you hit enter. Upon clicking this bar, you'll get the option of joining any squad that has fewer than 4 people in it and is not locked. You can also create your own squad. Creating a squad can be helpful when you want to be in a squad with friends or fellow clan members and there is not an existing squad with enough slots for your party. Also, creating a squad can be helpful when squad hopping, which will be detailed later. There is also one more feature of the squad management screen, which is the ability to lock your squad. But frankly, there's little to no reason to ever lock your squad. Having more people in your squad means you have more options relative to spawning and you'll get more support when assaulting the objective. This is a teamwork based game and the best team wins. So if you want to play with just 1 or 2 other people, go find some multiplayer co-op game to play. This is a prime example of what not to do. Here we have 5 different squads with 2 players or less in each squad, with each squad being locked. This team got owned. Now that you know the importance of joining a squad and how they operate, let's go to advanced squad tactics, otherwise known as squad hopping. Squad hopping is changing your squad in the middle of a match to gain a tactical advantage. Squad hopping generally takes place when your entire squad gets wiped out and you don't want to spawn at your main base. In such a case, one member of the squad will join a squad that's in a more tactically advantageous place, spawn on that squad, and then go back to your original squad so they can spawn on you. Another example of squad hopping would be when you're in a helicopter and need passengers or a gunner, but the landing zone is too hot. In this case, you'll go to another squad so that person can spawn on you in the helicopter rather than risking your helicopter by landing. These are but 2 of the many situations in which it may be a good idea to squad hop. Remember to think tactically and try to find your own reasons for squad hopping. With so many options on where and how to spawn, it's very important to think before you spawn. In servers with kill cam, you can see what's happening on the ground before you spawn. So if you see that your buddy is about to get lit up, don't spawn on him, let him die alone. He doesn't need your company. Or if you see a member in your squad is in a tank, but he doesn't have a gunner, then you can spawn on him as an engineer, that way you can gun for him and repair his tank when he gets hit. Perhaps you see a piece of armor in your base that isn't being used. Well, hop into that bad boy and go bring the pain to the enemy. There is one major caveat to that though, that being of choppers. Flying is harder than it looks, so if you don't know how to fly, it's best to go to an empty server with a chopper or to our practice server. That way you can learn how to fly a chopper without annoying your fellow teammates and wasting an important vehicle. Successful players are also very adaptable. There are some games in which you can do one thing very well and be successful at that game. Bad Company 2 is not one of those games. In fact, winning at Bad Company 2 is less of what you do well and more doing what your team needs you to do as best you can. This means if you see a squad member who's pinned down by a tank, spawn with C4 or TNT and take that tank out, even if you don't generally use C4 or TNT in your loadout. Or if your squad member is a recon going after a tank, spawn as an engineer and give them some support. Good players always Q-spot enemies. In a regular server, if you target an enemy and press the Q button, it will spot him for the rest of your team. This means he'll get a bright red triangle over his head and you'll be able to see his position on the minimap. Do this always. Do this even before engaging an enemy. It's that important. Which brings me to my next point. Your kill to death ratio means nothing. Don't be one of those whiny little punks that complain about other people stealing their kills. This is war, not some beauty pageant where the winner is that person with the prettiest numbers. A threat neutralized is a threat neutralized irrespective of who actually got the kill. I know there are lesser games which emphasize kill streaks and camping and all the other crap. This is not one of those games. So suck it up, princess, Q-spot your enemies, and get your hands dirty. I may not have the highest kill to death ratio, but I do have a higher ratio of wins to losses than kills to death, and that's how it should be. Instead of worrying about your kill to death ratio, be a team player. In Bad Company 2, there are a lot of roles which are integral to the success of a team but don't necessarily get you a lot of points. For example, being a chopper pilot. Now, I know you've seen all those montages of awesome chopper pilots going, look at me, I'm so great with my rockets. But the best chopper pilots are really those who set up the best shots for their gunner. Another thankless job that will get you even less points is using smoke grenades to cover the advance of your teammates. Effective concealment due to well-placed smoke may be the difference between winning and losing a match, but you will not get any points. That is the very definition of a team player. It should be all about the win, not your personal score. A large part of being an effective team player is remembering your role. There is something special to each and every kid. Unfortunately, a lot of newer players forget this. So, instead of reviving a fallen comrade, a new medic will keep pushing ahead just to get the next kill. Be sure to remember your kid's strength and play to those strengths. If you see someone pinned down and it looks like he will take contact, drop a medkit. Or as a recon, remember to strategically place your recon balls so the people advancing know what they're running into. These things may not seem like much, but remember, small choices have big consequences, and if you consistently do these things, you will win more than you lose. Another thing you should do is pick up other people's kits when it's tactically advantageous to do so. When people die, they drop what looks like their primary weapon, but it's actually their class and their loadout all in one nice little package. So, after getting in a firefight with a medic, pick up his kit and pick your buddy up. Or, after killing an assault, pick up his kit and drop an ammo box, then you can switch back to your weapon and get more ammo. The possibilities are nearly limitless. A word of advice though, if the medic who died is on your team, and you pick up his kit, go pick up someone else's kit, which will let him pick up his original kit. There's nothing more annoying than getting picked up by someone and having their crappy kit. Good players also know how to effectively use their knife. A lot of newer players are overly dependent on their primary weapon, but if you get in a situation where you're behind enemies, knifing may be the better option. Knifing has a few advantages. 1, it's silent. 2, it kills someone in one hit. And 3, you don't have to worry about a stray bullet alerting a nearby enemy when their screen goes red. You also need to listen to the sounds of the game. Admittedly, this video is silent, but the sounds of the game are far from ambient noises. If you Q-spot a friendly medic or assault, you will call for ammo from them. So obviously, if you're an assault or a medic, you need to listen for these sounds and get them what they need. There are other sounds you need to listen for. For example, when the game tells you you're the last person in your squad up, then you need to hide so your squad members can spawn on you. Also, you can hear the telltale crack of a missed sniper round. There's one sound that's kind of in a special category. When you throw a frag grenade, any enemy near where that grenade's going to land will yell out. So, if you throw a frag grenade where you think there might be enemies, you can listen for someone to yell and then you'll know their position. This is helpful when there's not a recon ball out. So far we've been focused largely on things you should do. Now we will turn to things that successful players do not do. First and foremost, do not bail out of vehicles. Nothing will mark you as a puppy quicker than jumping out of a tank or any other vehicle after it's been damaged and leaving it for the enemy to take. When you bail out of a tank early, 2 things happen and both are bad. 1, you give your enemy a tank. That's bad enough, but 2, your own tank won't respawn. Vehicles only respawn if that vehicle has been destroyed, irrespective of what team controls that vehicle. So if you give the other team your tank, it won't respawn at your base until you blow up the tank that is now theirs. Keeping this from happening is rather simple. If you get in a tank, you die with the tank. End of story. Now, of course, there are times where you want to repair a vehicle. In such a case, pull back from the enemy lines, make sure someone else is in the vehicle, and then hop out of the vehicle and you can repair it. As long as there's someone on your team in the vehicle, it cannot be stolen. Speaking of someone else being in your vehicle, do not roll out without a gunner. If you join any game at the beginning of a conquest or a rush round, you'll see some idiot hop in a tank and roll out without a gunner. This is stupid for multiple reasons. First, you're depriving yourself of the opportunity of having another person in your vehicle to repair you after you take contact. Secondly, a tank without a gunner is very vulnerable to foot mobiles such as recons running up to C4 your tank or engineers who pop their head up and shoot rockets at you. It's similarly important to make sure that you don't rush off without any passengers in transport vehicles such as the Blackhawk helicopter or the Hummer. This is especially true at the beginning of a map. One last thing you should not do relative to vehicles is steal another person's vehicle. For whatever reason, there are new players who will see a person repairing a vehicle and decide it's time for a joyride or something, hop in the vehicle and steal it. Not only is this stupid and rude, but it will get you kicked out of most servers. Don't do it. You should also take care to not blow a squad member's cover. When spawning on someone in a tactically advantageous position or a sniper in a hide, don't start laying down automatic gunfire so as to break their cover. Not only will you bring unwanted attention to the both of you, but you both will most likely end up dead. Instead, only engage contacts when you absolutely must. In fact, I rarely spawn on snipers because they're generally far from the fight and your movement will draw attention to their position. This concludes the Unknown Soldiers Basic Gameplay Tips tutorial video. This video was made for and by the use of the Unknown Soldiers. If you're in another clan and enjoyed this video, give us our props. If you are not in a clan and enjoyed this video, give us our props and consider joining us at unkso.com. That's www.unkso.com. This video was made using footage from both Battlefield Bad Company 2 and Battlefield Bad Company 2 Vietnam.